All right, cool. So welcome. You are level 256 Kanna.
Yep.
And did you always plan to be Kanna main? Did it just kind of happen? How did you get into Kanna?
So I started playing like a quarter through Neo, like the Tera burn, and I was watching I think a Copperson video and he said Kanna's OP. So I played Mape when I was like a little kid, and then I like played Reboot maybe 5 years ago, and I was bored, so I made Kanna. Yeah, randomly because I thought it was OP. I didn't know about Kishin or anything, and
That's a
I've
big
been
part of
playing
it.
since then. Yeah, I've been playing a lot, and then I kind of took a break, and then I saw I won the giveaway, so
Yep.
started playing again.
Oh, that was kind of... Wait, you started playing because of it, or you just started playing around that time, so you're like, it's good to get some direction then if I'm coming back?
Well, I kind of quit because I got triggered, so kind of the last 5, 10, 15, I was playing a lot during the event, and so I had like 30 bills saved up. I spent 10 on cubing and then 20 on Starforcing, and Starforcing went like really well. I got my CRA all to 20, and then I got actually my Gollux belt to 21 and like 20 bills, so I was like super happy. And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna tap my CRA off event to 21, so I got everything to 21, and then everyone in my guild's like, whoa, you're so lucky, like 20 bill, that's it. And then I was like, okay, like everyone was posting like 22s in the chat, so I was like, I was farming one day, I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna tap my my hat to 22 because it has a good potential. I was like, okay, like let's make it like a end game piece or whatever, and then it blew up. So I kind of got triggered. I spent like 10 bill trying to get it back to 17, and it kept failing 15 to 16, so I quit. And then I came back because I saw I won the thing, so I've been farming for the last week, and then during the 30% I got it to 22. But
Revenge.
yeah, but ever since I was playing since Neo, I've been very smart with my money and stuff, but I don't know what happened. I just kind of like got triggered, I guess, after the event, and I just spent like a bunch of money. So other than that, progression's been good, but that was like kind of a stupid mistake I made. But now I'm ready to start saving again. Yeah, and I kind of just want like progression, like on my account. I want to start making, I guess, bossing mules and stuff, and just kind of yeah.
That's something you already started, or you're kind of like on the cusp of that?
Kind of on the cusp. I still like, I saw that today with the changes to Kanna. I love like bossing and stuff with Kanna, so I'm still gonna stay Kanna main, and I want to like focus more, I guess, on the Kanna and everything, but eventually I want to slowly get to 8k and then make a couple bossy mules. But like, I guess I don't know if it, do you have to push them to like low main, or are they fine to stay at like CRA for bossy mule? Like, I just don't know how to go about that, like being as most efficient as possible, I guess.
It seems in KMS that all of the bosses up until Lotus and Damien, I guess with the exclusion of CPAP, that all of the value of those crystals like slowly went down, right, because of the supply and demand thing. Are you aware how the crystals are going to change?
I saw, yeah, based on like how many people kill it or whatever, the value goes down, right?
Yeah, so the base value is going to go up, and then depending on how many people destroy it in the week, the value will get adjusted with up to 3% up or down per week, basically. So it seemed that in KMS, you know, which is slightly different, but I mean, it's all we have as a reference point for now, is that like CPAP went up, and then all the other bosses up until Lotus and Damien went down, and Lotus and Damien I think stayed roughly the same, and everything above it like slowly goes up, and the further you go, the more it goes up, because just, you know, access for players in general. It goes down. So it's kind of up to you. So I think if you make a bunch of them that can do CRA, it's probably pretty good for like the first 4 weeks or something. But then it'll go down to like the same value as now, or even lower than that. And I wonder, it comes down to how much you invest, right? Like if you invest 3 bill into a character and you make 200 mil back, then, you know, in 15 weeks you make all the money back, very rough estimate. And then you start making gains. If you want to go further, you need to invest more as well, but you might get it back quicker or around the same time, but then your return on investment is going to be bigger after a while. So I think most people are aiming for a character to be able to solo Lotus and Damien, especially now with the final damage change and with the access to guild skills. That should be reasonable with not too much funding. And there's a lot of fake lab weapons now, right? So that's a good enough weapon to have funded enough to be able to kill Lotus and Damien, I think. Plus, it eliminates a whole bunch of money to expend on, you know, getting Absolab weapon and upgrading that and all that stuff. So you can basically just upgrade the emblem in a secondary, and then kind of see how far you are with whatever links in Legion you have, and access to guild skills and all that stuff, and then see if you want to speed it up from there. You know, you don't want to do like 20-minute runs every week, of course. Based on that, you kind of decide how high you want to fund it.
Okay, yeah, so my goal was to kind of like get my Kanna pretty far out, like up, like bossing wise, and then I guess slowly start doing that like later on. That's kind of like a long-term thing to slowly work on like bossing mules. But like I guess for now, I guess this progression session, I guess focusing more on like the Kanna like gear and stuff, and then just like building, I guess, around the Kanna. And then I guess that I was gonna ask you about Tera burn and stuff, but
yeah, so Tera burn can be connected to that, right? It can be connected to, do you want to start making a bossing mule now so you can start leveling it? The main thing, the main value I like, I think is kind of overlooked in bossing and in bossing mules and all that stuff, is that you get a lot of value in non-mesos that also helps your account quite a bit on upgrading stuff, right? You get flames, cubes, soul shards, all that stuff. You get backups that makes it so that you don't have to safeguard as much. That makes you money. It's all kind of intangible wealth, of course, like it's material, but it is there, and it does create value for your account. So the sooner you start a character, you know, if you're doing dailies on a bossing mule, once you get to a right amount of strength, you can just stop doing the dailies. But of course, the sooner you start, and with events where you can buy extra symbols, you can get a head start, and you can get to that point faster. I don't know if you've given thought to like which characters might be optional for you.
Yeah, so I was thinking of if you go down to, I guess, the Legion. So I started playing, I guess, the first Tera burn. So I made my Kanna. It was like still early on, so I didn't really like focus on Legion much. But I made a DA, and I got it to like 170 something, and then I kind of just stopped playing it because it was so bad, and I didn't have any other Legion, so it was like super weak. And I was thinking of using the growth potions near the end of this event to like maybe try to bonk it to like close to 200, and then train it to 202, and then use the other growth potions just to get it to 210. Or I was thinking just making a new one, but like I feel like that might be kind of a waste because I can just get like another 210 links, so I can kind of get 2 links done. If I just did. That's what I was thinking. But
yeah, that's probably a good idea. Yeah, because what are the other options? What would be the ones you're thinking of?
I was thinking either, I don't know if I have a BT made, but I don't know if the Beast Tamer like will be out during the Tera burn. If I can maybe Tera burn a Beast Tamer.
Yeah, they're out now. Yeah, Beast Tamer and Zero are out now, and they're going to stay out until the end of the event now.
Okay, so like I have one at 140. Like pretty much all my characters are around 140. I have a Zero at 200.
Are you aiming for 8K Legion?
Yeah, but slowly. Like I focused heavily. Like when I first started playing, I was doing like I was running through Legion. Like I made a bunch of characters. I was kind of like following your like Zaka method, whatever. So I got to 6K, maybe like 2 months ago ish. And then since then, I've been just focusing on like Kanna and like farming and stuff. And just I kind of took a backseat to Legion. But I slowly want to push to 8K. But right now, I'm kind of doing like links and like getting level 3 links that like benefit like my bossing, and like it's really hard to get like crit rate and stuff on Kanna. Like I don't like that I have to put so much crit rate in my Legion board.
Yeah, they have low crit.
Yeah, so like I was thinking of getting like I got the level 3 Lumi, so I was thinking maybe level 3 Phantom, Beast Tamer, or those are like the two, or making another DA. But I feel like that might be kind of a waste because it's 181 right now.
And so there's 2 major ways, right? A lot of people will do, and I talked about this in one of the previous sessions. We're talking about like allocating certain characters for certain ways of growth, right? Because it seems that the Demon Avenger has been outscaled tremendously because like temporary CRA gone, pretty much naked, and already in the 180s. So it seems like that one should probably be relegated to just taking in all of and it's a class that you don't like training. All of those factors together makes that a character that's probably ripe for just throwing level up potions at it, right? That seems like a more reasonable way to go about with that character. If there's other characters that you kind of enjoyed or that you was okay leveling, I would consider those characters that eventually you want to throw a little bit of money at, fund it enough, especially if it has like a fake lab or something. That could be a way to help it grow to that point, and then beyond to maybe become a Tera burn. Bossing Mule. And the ones that you barely got to 120 or to 140 and you absolutely hated, but you do eventually want to get to 200 and 210, those would be like the characters that would be prime Tera burn material, basically.
Okay.
So
yeah, I got the last Tera burn, it did the Demon Slayer, and that was not bad at all. I'm just kind of leaving it at 210 though for now because of all the Starforcing events. I've just been farming on the Kanna. But yeah, and then my buddy in my guild, like I just joined his Hard Lotus run or something, and then I got a Abzo on it, but it's only like 10 stars or something. So I was thinking maybe eventually making the Demon Slayer into a bossing mule, because it's kind of already set up.
Yep, and I heard
it's
it's solid as well for that.
Yeah.
Peaks nice and early, good survivability, doesn't need a lot of Legion, not Legion dependent, right? It doesn't need a lot of IED or crit rate. Gets a lot of it from its kit.
Yeah.
So that helps a lot with not needing as much funding and being able to pick up the money quickly.
Yeah.
So the main thing is if you're kind of like going into all of the level 3s and you're basically moving towards 8k Legion, right, to fill up your grid more, because you've noticed that you need a lot in crit, and you know, on the voyage to getting a lot more crit from your Legion and your links, hopefully you'll get more Legion pieces as well and be able to fill out the IED more and the boss damage more and stuff like that. Usually what I advise is just to go back to the links grid and just basically just start back from the top and work your way down again. Because it's,
so maybe doing the experience links, you think?
Yeah, because not only will it speed up the other characters and getting them all to 200, especially the ones that you're going to level, right? Not so much the ones that you're going to potion your way there. But it's also still going to help your main, so it's still going to help your Evan. And because we have the link skills way more transferable now, it does mean that all of your characters are constantly going to get benefit from it. Like longer Evan runes. You know, we have those Sundays where you get 300, like plus 200% instead of plus 100% from the runes. That synchronizes very nicely with Evan. Mercedes is always useful, of course. The Zero's already at 200, so that's really nice. And then the Aaron helps, depending on what class it is, it can help more or less, depending on how quickly you build combos. But I would basically just go back up from the top. The Phantom is also really high, so if you're saying like crit rate is a big problem, and out of those characters, maybe Phantom is the one you would like playing the least, then that would be a good option. What I would probably do is see if you can get one of them to 220, so you can get that box for the Abslab weapon, and then throw that on another character that's maybe already like around 160 that eventually you also want to get to 200. Maybe, or you know, maybe if it's now 140 or something, you know, but eventually you want to get it to 200. That way it will need way less funding to jump up to 200 to give you, or to 210 if it has a good level 3 link, or if it has like a really good rank double S Legion buff. So I don't know if you have all the crit damage ones, maybe like a Hayato or something, or a Jet if you don't have those at 200 yet, right?
Yeah, I have.
Oh, the Jet's there, yeah. Jet is there, but the Hayato and the Shade, right? Those aren't 200 yet. So if those are characters that you're okay with training, but you want to give them a stronger boost, or maybe even have them as a bossing mule, then that weapon can have like 3 rolls. So then you get a lot of mileage out of it. So I don't know if there's any class that you considered like that.
Yeah, the Phantom, when I was doing it for the Legion, I just didn't really understand the stealing of the skills and stuff, so I think I was playing it really inefficiently. And it was kind of like weak and stuff, and it was one of the first characters I did, so I didn't really enjoy it. But I was thinking kind of between the Phantom and the Beast Tamer. I know Beast Tamer is a pretty good link for Kanna, because the HP and stuff.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it hits like all 4 bases when you're bossing. Yeah, it's definitely a good one. I've heard from a lot of people that the Beast Tamer is pretty intuitive now. I don't know how long ago you did the Beast Tamer, but they went through quite a bit of changes over years.
I played it during Neo when it came out with the Zero. I just kind of made them. And then so I don't know if the changes were in effect then, but I also didn't understand. Like I kind of just played it like stupidly. I didn't really know I was doing the Jaguar, and I don't know if that was like, I had no idea about the other ones.
Yeah, the like Jaguar Snow Leopard, that was like the old, kind of like the old way where you just like kind of hold down the buttons and you flash through the map, but that was nerfed. I don't know if that was on Neo, it's possible that it was on Neo that they kind of took that out. Now a lot of people use the bird form, the hawk form, and they basically just fly around and you just bird bomb the map, and apparently it's pretty straightforward and kind of fun and pretty fast as well. So people, you know, I get feedback all the time of people like, oh, I Tera burned this. It was actually really fast. I probably could have Tera burned something else. Most of the classes they mentioned there is like Jet, Beast Tamer. These are like classes that initially people think are going to be really bad, but then afterwards are like, they were actually really fun. I probably should have Tera burned something else.
Okay, so maybe I'll save the Beast Tamer. I'll just do it myself, because it's already at 140, so it's only another couple levels. Not that bad.
Yeah, just remember, because this is for most people. It's not like trying to like single you out as possible. That's for you, but people can have very unrealistic expectations of like how strong their character is supposed to be at 140. Make sure you remember that you get, you know, gear of the right level, that you upgrade the right pieces, you know, before you start playing around with it, because it's going to be weak, right? It's got like all of them have like level 80 to level 120 gear, right? Probably not very upgraded, probably not scrolled, probably not cubed, any of that.
Yes, I've been
potential.
Like if I know, I haven't really made that many 200s, but if I know, I've been kind of just like putting on a cold cubes and like some flames from my Kanna, kind of like if like setting it up so it's not super weak, because I hate like 3-4 shotting up to 200. It's brutal. So yeah, I've been kind of finding them slowly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I would always go a little bit harder on the WSE, right? At least get it to epic with 6% weapon or magic attack. That usually goes quite a long way. Maybe even to unique, depending on how hard you want to go. And then for everything else, roll at least stat on it. I get some Starforce. I like getting the boss accessories set, like as many of those that are reasonably accessible. I see you have most characters a little bit with that, right? Like the Horntail and Zakum items, like together, usually gets you like the 5, 6, 7 set bonus. And those items are flame advantage, so they usually are pretty nice from the get-go. But yeah, remember Monster Park potions, Legion potions, Legion coupons. Those, that together, all your links, set your Legion to your character. That's going to make a huge difference. And yeah, if you played this character a while ago, if you do that now and you throw some funding at it, and it'll be reasonably doable. Like, some characters are going to feel worse than others. So that's always the case. But, it shouldn't be too bad.
Yeah, I kind of I think I'm gonna start working Legion again once, I guess, after all this Starforcing stuff is over, because I just want to take advantage, I guess, of all this right now.
Yeah, lots of events, right?
Yeah, like I feel like I need a lot of meso right now, and I kind of got pissed. Like I was saying, I blew like about 15 bill, 20 bill on, like, and for me that's a lot. So I'm trying to get back up. My goal is to get like 40 bill for, I think it's like January, like in the middle of January, for the 5, 10, 15.
5 to 15?
But,
yeah. When was it exactly? Is it the 19th or something?
Yeah.
I think it's is it 3 weeks from now? Oh, the 16th. Yeah, 16th, I think.
Yeah, I just felt so bad booming at 21 to 22, like one tap, like I was like, oh my god. So it just kind of was a big setback, and like so far my progression's been pretty smooth. Like I haven't really got like triggered at all. But yeah, like my belt, my superior belt, I did the pink bean into the superior, and I got it to like from like 10 stars to 21 and like under 2 bill. Like it was like didn't fail a star, and then I just went right into it. So like I've had like really good luck with Starforce until I boomed my hat, and then I guess that kind of like, that was reality of like, I think I was like, I thought it was easier than it was because this went so smooth the last 5, 10, 15, because that was the first time pushing past 17 on my gear.
You can set unreasonable expectations for future events.
Yeah, so now I guess I realize I have to be smarter. I mean, I'm going to do 21s now, and then eventually 22s, but first I'm going to go for 21s.
Yeah, from a value perspective, that's usually way better investment. It just makes more sense. I'm all for going for 22, but going for 22s when you don't have 21s yet, or when you're not just massively like swimming in mesos, is just like an inefficient way of using it. If you want to do that, it's all up to you. But yeah, I just wanted
the hat, this mega. I just wanted the nice piece because I got the three line on it. Like I was like, I think it was during the DMT, like when I first started playing, I got my CRA to legendary, and I didn't realize how hard it was to get 3 line on the hat and stuff. And like I was like first started playing, and then everyone was like, yo, that's like so expensive. So yeah, like a lot of my lucky stuff I got was when I was like a full noob, and I had no idea like how lucky, like my cup flame.
You didn't even know how lucky you were.
Yeah. But now I realized everything now, so I've been kind of trying to save and be smarter now.
So you're making a decent amount of money on a weekly basis?
Yeah, I go in waves. So like now that I know the event's coming up, I'm playing a bit more. I'm trying to do all the Legion wealth coupons, and like I finally started getting wops and stuff. Like I was farming like kind of weird before. I would just go on for like randomly 30 minutes throughout the day, and like just like farm for a bit, and then like I'd make not that much money. But now I'm kind of doing the wops, like the 2-hour sessions, and like doing it smarter. So my goal is to get 10 bill a week until the event.
Okay. And that's with that's including like the Ursus and Maple Tour and all that stuff, right?
Yeah. I haven't been doing Maple Tour honestly, like the last like couple months, but yeah, yours, the bossing and like that type of stuff too. Like I think 10 bill a week should be okay.
Yeah, if it's 2 runs a day and you're a Kanna, you can probably just make gains easier in that time than to bother with Maple Tour. I think it's more early on when your amounts of resources is more limited. Yeah.
I was doing a lot at the beginning, but now I'm doing LH6 and I'm getting like 2 bill a wop, like, so it's like it's so easy getting.
Yep. Yeah, they set up
Like,
the standard very high for, you know, what to get and how quickly to get things. So make sure that you keep like a healthy balance there with what you're willing to invest in time-wise and what you're, you know, what you're feeling like you should be investing on the other side.
Yeah, and also I don't know if you saw like my weapon and my secondary is it's a kind of a weird situation. So I've been trying to like go as cheap as possible. Like some of my my potentials are still unique because they're like decent. So like on my I had a fake. So on my main fan, I use the Abzo now. It's just a weird setup. So I had an Abzo and then I had the fake lab from the Tera burn for so long, and I put it as my secondary, and I knew none of the lines counted. So I spent my Lucid droplets, and like last 5, 10, 15 I bought the Arcane fan, and I got it to 17. I 2-lined it and I got super lucky on the flame. Like that was like under 10 flames. But I've been using that as a secondary because I don't want to lose the 30% boss. But then last night I got a 30% IED familiar and I got 20% boss familiar. So I was thinking now, I don't know, like if it would be smarter to use the Arcane fan as my main fan and then using a 20% boss familiar to like kind of replace some of the boss loss from the Abzo.
I'd be surprised that even if you account for the boss, if the Arcane wasn't already better than the Abzo lab, because you've got 12% extra boss on it already, right? So it's only 18% boss loss, and you're gaining 221 magic attack. Versus,
yeah, that's what I was thinking. I just used the Abzo.
I think that's all already worth even before you got the familiars. I would think.
Okay.
Best way. So one of a good way that you could check this, if you want to know, is either do a BA or just do a culvert run, right? One way, and then do a culvert run the other way, and see if there's a significant difference or not.
Yeah. So when I was 20-star CRA, I did it was like right after the 5, 10, 15. I did a BA, and I think I was like 4.5 trill. So I don't know. It'd probably be, I guess, a bit higher now. But
that was after final damage change, right?
Yeah. This was a couple weeks ago.
Because that's a huge, that's a huge factor to make sure that you're accounting for.
Yeah,
it's just the total magic attack just because of the base attack and the flame is just so much higher because the percentage of the flame gets higher, the base gets higher, and you know it's both 17. But look at the difference in magic attack, right? One is 50% higher than the other one. Like it's a crazy difference.
Yeah.
Plus the boss doesn't count on the secondary, right? The boss flame, but it does count if you use it as your main weapon.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess when I boss, I'll switch that around, but I'll lose a bit of ID because then I won't be running 3 ID familiars.
Yeah, we'll look at ID and everything. We'll make it fix. We'll fix it. We'll make it fit. But we want to have that
all over
Arcane
the
as the main
place. Sorry, right
weapon.
now.
Yeah.
I'm like saying random stuff.
Yeah, well, we're just getting oriented. It's fine. It's fine. Yeah, usually I look at all the like non-equip stuff, and then we get to the equips at the end to make sure that it like fits the rest. Because usually the equips is the hardest stuff to change. So usually go through the other stuff first to see what is easier to change around, and then with that changed, we look through that perspective. We look through the equips and then see what really needs to change in equips and what is just the next logical step or what is desirable to change. Through that lens, because you know a lot of times switching the equip potential or the Starforce is like the hardest thing to do, right? Like moving your Legion pieces around, moving your hyper stats around, equipping different link skills. That's very easy, right? You could do that.
Yeah.
So want to make sure that that's all set up so that I can get to the equips and make sure that all the other stuff is accounted for, basically.
I see. Okay.
All right. So we talked a little bit about familiars. You're all good on that. You're just making a bunch and praying to RNGesus in your private shrine. I hope that you get some good.
I've gotten so many HP familiars, like large HP. I got a 2-liner yesterday, which I thought was I was pretty happy about. Like large HP and then small HP, and then I got 30% ID and then 20 boss. I think for Kanna, I think we always need an ID, right? Familiar?
Yeah, definitely. Sure. I mean, you always want to get a line on your emblem, which probably means that with a multiplication that you probably can do with one as well in your secondary. We'd have to look at the exact multiplications. Maybe if your line on your emblem is a 40%, then maybe you can sneak by without one.
Yeah, on the cube sale, I was trying to get 40% ID 2-line magic, but I spent about like 7 bill, and I wanted to save for the Starforcing, so I kind of settled. I got 2 double prime attack and then a damage line, so I kind of just settled for now.
Yeah, I mean that's the next best thing to be able to get. Yeah.
Yeah, is that I was gonna ask, is that damage line like much? Is that much worse than 3-line magic attack? The
So
emblem?
when you're mobbing, sometimes it can even be better, but when you're bossing, it's gonna be. Well, the alternative there would be a magic attack or an ID line on boss. So on bossing, damage becomes a lot less worth, right? It's a little bit tricky because you still you know about range and you know how it's not very descriptive and everything, but you still see a number go plus or minus. But now how the number changes versus mobbing and bossing is very, very different, because in the past, like your total damage percentage was maybe like 500 or something. So if you had 10% on the item, it would lose like half of its efficiency. But now your total damage is maybe like 300, and it's only the damage percentage of the total damage and boss together is maybe only like a quarter or something. So it's only a quarter efficient. So you have to look way more nuanced at damage percentage lines, in the sense that it's gonna look way stronger on mobbing, but it's also going to be way weaker comparative to how strong it looks when you're bossing. So it's not bad, but it's probably the next best thing that you could have besides like ID or magic attack on there. Because if you do end up rolling magic attack, then you just want to get ID familiars instead, because that's the more flexible part at that point.
Okay. So I guess I'll run 2 ID, 1 boss for now on familiars.
Probably, yeah. If I had to guess, especially if you want to switch out that weapon, right? If I want to guess, that's probably going to give you the best multiplier. The best way of knowing this is by using like a full calculator and throwing all of the numbers in there and just having the calculator tell you what would give you the best damage output. We can approximate it with like small calculators where you just you just put in the numbers in the list and boom. You just have a list of all your IED, and we can approximate it. If you want like the full best in slot, like this is exactly how it works, this is how much IED equals 1% damage equals how much stat and all of that, then you can use the full calculator. I put the link in the chat.
Okay.
It was put under from Master Robert. He put it in like Patreon for a while, but I think he updated it and made it completely free to use again. So if that's something you want to do, it's a time investment, but as long as you keep it updated with the changes, it will always just roll out the numbers of this is your situation and this would be ideal, basically.
Okay, I was using, I think, sock cards or something on that website, and I don't think it was accounting for crit rate, because it was telling me like weird things from my hyper skills and stuff. And
yeah, I've gotten that a lot. It counts. It starts counting at having 100% crit rate as that. It takes that into basically it takes that as the starting position that you have 100% crit. So you have to kind of figure that one out yourself and then start from there.
Okay, yeah, I didn't understand that at first, so I was like getting weird numbers, but yeah, I'll definitely take a look at the one you said.
I've seen people with like, 1 point here and then 13 there, and then their Legion is completely the other way around. I'm like, there's got to be like there's got to be a better way,
Yeah.
But it could be a matter of like maybe one of the instructions is not as clear, or it's not as visible, and then people get confused and just throw numbers in, and then you can get weird results very quickly. But remember, like, as you're still building your account, and especially if you're familiar with the progression grid, right?
Yeah, I've definitely taken a look.
Yeah, like as one of those things is more kind of out of whack than the others, you'll get really weird setups in like hyperstats and Legion boards that try to correct for that. But if everything kind of goes evenly, then the numbers will look more normal as well. You'll have like 6 here and 8 there, or like 8 there and 10 there, on your hyperstats, and then that makes more sense. But if your hyperstats is like, put 1 point here and 14 on the other one, you're like, maybe maybe my Legion board needs to move, or maybe I need to level more characters, or maybe I need an ID line somewhere, And then
I've tried to level them up evenly, but yeah, I think people say like Kanna, I think you want to put a bit into IED, but like right now I think it's like they're all at 11 almost or something.
Yeah, base IED and crit rate is just like you have no knockback resistance, your IED is very, very low, and your crit rate is low. But other than that, you're like a 12 out of 10 on everything else. So these are just the burdens you're gonna have to bear.
Yeah, they need a buff Kanna.
Yeah. Well, I heard they're doing something to Kanna, but not quite a buff.
Yeah, Kanna, so. I was looking at all the discords. Everyone's kind of freaking out.
Yeah. Headless chickens out there now.
Yeah, no, I still love Kanna. Like, I like the fact that you can like weave, and then now there's like the exo weaving and stuff. So I feel like there is a bit of like you can play Kanna a bit skilledly, and I like how like when you boss, like you're kind of like the main person. Like everyone's asking you when the binds are and stuff like that. So I do like still bossing with it.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. Okay.
Definitely a snake. I mean.
So familiar's all clean. Yeah, you're just getting more variation for the familiar so that you can be like up to speed on anything that's relevant, right? Any situation you can be prepared, basically.
Yeah, when I do my training, like other than when I'm leveling them up, so I got a large item drop from a booster pack, which was kind of lucky, like really early on as well. So I've been doing that with the 6% auto steals. I have 2. Is that probably the best setup for when I farm?
Yeah, as long as you're not trying to actively make a lot more familiars during that session, right? Because if you're trying to actively level familiars, then you probably auto steal is probably not as important, so you can switch one of them out or 2 of them out for leveling familiars. But otherwise, I think that's probably the best. Yeah. I think the only contender there would be like 10% item acquisition if you get that on unique. That's probably better than like a line of auto steal, but that would be the only. I think. Yeah, and auto steal can technically get to 7, I think, but other than that, yeah, that seems fine.
Okay. Yeah, so pretty good familiars. I understand.
Right. Yeah, hopefully get more 30% and stuff like that, so you can have more.
Yeah, I guess 40, right, is the highest for IED.
Yeah, technically, you can get. Oh god, yeah, I don't know the exact numbers. I think for bossing you could also get 40, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh wow.
Or 35s and 40s, I think, and then 45s and 50s on legendary, I think. Right, chat? Exclamation mark familiars.
Yeah, I've seen some crazy familiars in like non-reboot. I think 50% boss I've seen.
10% item acquisition is counting as 10% potential on an equip, so caps at 200. Yeah, so for bossing it wouldn't be better, but for mobbing you're probably not running 200% and 100% meso obtain, I'm thinking, right?
No, I think I have 100 and... No. I think I only have 5 equips or 6. Good drop. I don't have any double lines or anything.
Red cards, Pepper Hands? Yeah, that would be something. Some kind of access to... Yeah, exactly. Unique has... Oh, you've seen 40% ID? Yeah, because I think it goes... Yeah, 30, 35, and 40. And I believe for boss damage is the same.
So what I've been doing is I've been making epics, and then if they're crap lines, I've been like just going to unique and then revealing them. I guess, is that like the smartest way of going about it?
Yeah, usually I let it rely on how many you have. You know, if your whole inventory is full, you're probably okay with making some uniques, because, you know, the unique second line is still an epic line as well. So you see you have some 20 IEDs and some secondary lines that are quite nice, right? You've got some double that have some okay stuff on there. So yeah, that's usually how I do. Yeah, you just make a bunch of epics, and if you have a whole inventory full of shitty epics, then you just make them up to unique so that your whole inventory doesn't get flooded with like bad epics.
Yeah.
Because I guess that's a little bit the risk, right? You don't want to keep too many.
Yeah, it's so annoying when they fail epic to unique like multiple times in a row. It's such a waste of cards.
Because I mean, you can have like 3 of them that go first try, and you're like, oh yes, and then one of them can like fail 4-5 times, and you're like, oh, my day's ruined now. But you know, if you average it out, you know, it makes sense that if a few of them are going to be first try, a few of them are going to be like 5th try. But I don't know.
This game is so weird like that. Like, it stacks luck, I swear. Like, I didn't see Dominator Pendant for so long, and then I saw like 4 in a week. So like, it just doesn't make any sense. Yeah,
I've noticed that. Yeah, the cluster result with primals and with dominators, I felt that very strongly over the times that I've been running. Yeah, and like the amount of really good like intellect flames and potentials on strength users, and then amount of really good strength flames and potentials on int users is also, it seems, I don't know, it was they were held under a loop and everything, so it probably is biased, but man, does it feel not like it, like biased?
I get the craziest strength potentials. Like I've gotten so many double prime strength with like 3 lines. Yeah, it's stupid.
Yeah. Like the best flame I ever got on my pep mark was for int. It's like 84 and 6 and 6 or something. You're like, okay, this is really cool, but also totally useless.
If only there's trade.
Yeah, if there was some kind of trade. Oh, do you guys remember what was that flame? I think it was on a pep mark. It was like a Kanna. It was something like a 96 and 7 or something for strength, but it was a Kanna who rolled it. It was just like so disgusting. It was like, oh, it was like the worst thing. Yeah, it seems to always, but you know, the odds are always bigger that it's on a stat that it's not for you, right? Than it is for you, because it's only 1 in 4 that you're looking for. But man, does it? But yeah, we'll not get into it too much. It's just yeah, we both know what's going on there. Okay, yeah, so we went over Legion. So yeah, I guess my main advice would be to just start back at the top and look at the characters that you don't enjoy. Relegate those to do Tera burns, either do 210s for the good level 3 links or the 200 for the really good double S Legion boards, and the other ones just slowly, one at a time, like get funding towards that character in the form of occult cubes, potential scrolls, potential stamps, flames, Master Craftsman cubes, maybe even Meister cubes, right? To get until you get it to the point where you're like, okay, now this character is like decently strong, or maybe there's an event, or you feel like it. Dedicate a few totems, boom, and you have the benefit that you don't really have to rely on totems at all for your main, right? So you can dedicate them very specifically towards the Legion, so that's a huge benefit that you have as well.
Hopefully that doesn't change though. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, in the short term, right?
Yeah. Like sometimes I even buy the black cubes, my reward points, because like I don't want to train my mules.
Okay. Just to try to get some Hail Marys and attempts in.
Yeah. Well, when someone in my guild rolled the 3-line attack on his emblem off one of those, so I was like,
wow, nice. Yeah. Yeah, I had a double. Well, it wasn't really from those, but I did use those on non-reboot to roll items there, and then I sold them for Meso, and then Maple points through the Meso market, and that got me all the Maple points on reboot where I used them on Maple Tour. But I got pretty lucky with that as well, yeah. I don't know if it's... Yeah, it's got to be better than average, because I rolled 3 triple lines, 1 with double prime, and then like 2 more 30% or something on... I did like monocles and tattoos, because they were pretty easy to get, but they were still pretty much considered endgame, because, you know, access to tattoo, to the Berserk and the eye patch and all that is always yikes. But back when the Meso rate was completely broken, so... Like, if it was just 3-line, it would sell for like 30 bill. So I would just sit on that money and then trade it all in when the exchange rate was like 2.5 or something. And now it's like 1. So it's, yeah, it's a bad exchange rate too. So fortunate timing on all of that. But yeah, you know, you have those resources, you work for it. So you use them how you see fit. You want to throw out some Hail Marys, you do that. But I think for Legion they will have value, but you have to be up for it. You know, you have to want to do it. I'm not gonna like tell you that you have to push everything aside.
After this event, definitely gonna start doing Legion again slowly.
Sure. Okay. And for your board, do you have 2 setups now? One for mobbing, one for bossing, right?
Yep.
What I would advise, especially if your Legion is this big, is to either make a 3rd setup. Probably make a 3rd setup and make that setup and double check on your main setup that it is specifically a setup for one for mages and one for non-mages, because the percentage of your total amount of value that you're getting from your board that comes from your members is gonna go up significantly compared to now. So like now you only have a few warriors in there, right? And not even all of them probably give you strength. But if you want to make a board for the non-mages, you want to get strength and dex and then luck as a 3rd set in there as once you pass by all of the more important ones. And as your Legion grows and you can put more and more characters in there, more and more of those are going to be like kind of empty characters that you put in there. But on the other board, the difference is going to become bigger and bigger, because if you can put like 4 or 5 extra strength characters in there and they all give like 80 strength, that's 300 strength extra on a new character. That's significant, right?
How would I go about...
Oh, sorry, you cut off.
How do I make a 3rd setup?
You can buy an extra coupon from the Legion shop. Okay. So you can choose to do that, or that you kind of fuse your current setup so that you can easily move between one and the other, and you have one movable mage setup and one movable non-mage setup. That's what I have, but that's how I built it before. You need crit. You're basically moving all of the IED. You're moving some into... Ugh, that's going to be annoying. Yeah, because I think you unlock it now for 3 months, so it's quite a while until you like need to refresh. So you can be like, okay, now I'm gonna feel like I'm gonna do Legion. Then you unlock it, and then for 3 months you go harder on Legion, and it's possible that after that you don't really need it very much anymore. So that's like a 1-time or a 2-time thing, you know. So that's, I would leave it like a problem then. I don't think we need to go like super into problem solving mode for it right now. Or
Okay.
do you feel? Do you have questions around it, or do you understand what I'm getting at?
No, I understand.
Okay. Cool.
I guess the only other thing for Legion is like I'm always like kind of looking for coins. I guess that's just Starforcing, right? On my mules.
A lot is also just getting level 200s on the board and going for 8k, because you can see the difference, right? Like your Lumi and your Demon Slayer, that's 10.6 mil. The 0 is 8.4, so that's already 20% more. That's mainly the levels, right? Because it's not like the Lumi has an insane amount of Starforce, I don't think.
Yeah, no.
So that's a huge difference. And if you compare it to a level 160 or level 150, that's 2.4 mil. That's a quarter, right? So
yeah.
Starforcing is definitely a thing, don't get me wrong, but until you have an 8k Legion board, I don't think Starforcing is very important at all. Because it's more like, if you're at 10.5 mil, and you throw up all the Starforcing, then at 210, you can probably go to like 11.5 or something. So then you can get like 10% on top of that. But if you throw all the Starforce at a 2.5 mil, and you can maybe get it to 3 mil, if you spend the time training it instead, you get way more gains. It's way more like efficient for your money. Like I can look at my characters, because my Starforce is pretty okay at the higher end. Because I think I'm at around the same number where you are. Yeah, so I have a little bit more Starforce, so I'm at like 12 mil, where you were at 10.5, 10.6. Yeah, so it's 10%, a little bit more than 10% extra. And these are more closer. These are closer to 11.5, 12ish. And then the newer characters, I didn't really Starforce on. Yeah, this is more like a bare bones. This one is 8.5 at 200. I think that's closer to what you are having, right? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's some, but I would do it on top once you're done. And that's why this is also a good way to go about it, is when you get the base level of funding, you're also going to get all of, like, a lot of equip slots filled before you make the journey up to 200. And then once they're at 200 and you have money in your account and you have one of those 1+1 events, that's a really good time to get everything to 12 and just get a lot of raid power. But your raid power is going to go up a lot just from the characters, because my Starforce on my characters is not that crazy, but my raid power is, yeah, like 430 million, like 4 times yours. But it's mainly just characters. It's just the characters. Okay. It's just so much value in the levels of the characters.
Okay.
And if you're going for Starforce, you probably want to aim for like 120 or something, 120. That's a good point to aim for after that. But yeah, I would have that more as like the cherry on top rather than that being the goal, because you're probably going to spend a lot of money and kind of be disappointed at how little it went up.
I see. Okay, that's down the line.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. Everything else for Legion and Lynx and Tera burns all makes sense. And with that, I guess, like, if you go for the because there's 3 Fakesos, right? Do you want to make a list of like which characters would be good to eventually make into bossing mules, so that you can kind of prepare those and approach those in a way that makes sense in the long term?
Sure. Yeah, so I think my Demon Slayer eventually, right? Like, I really liked Adele, but like there's no real value to it, like on my Legion board and stuff. But I liked doing it as a mule, so I feel like that could be easy.
It's a free bossing mule, honestly. If you look at the characters who have like very strong kits and will just immediately pop off because of 5th job and are not too difficult to get a hang of, but get a lot of returns. Adele is definitely high up there. Demon Slayer is high up there. Other characters to consider that I think are very high return that I played is maybe surprisingly is the Lara. Very strong. Yeah, I was able to do like solo CRA at 200, like without boost nodes, without really going too crazy on it.
Oh wow. Okay, mine's 200. I got it. So maybe if I push that a bit farther.
If you're okay with the playstyle, right? But I think for CRAs, like, yeah. Because I trained the Lara from 200 to 210, and then at 210 I did CRA again. I did all of CRA within like half hour Link's guild skills.
Oh wow. And did you have
That was with boost nodes. So like between 200 and 210 I added boost nodes, And man, what else did I add? I mean, you add boost nodes, you get the levels up in the matrix, right? I think I opened about a total of 300 nodes or something.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I want to ask you about. So I've been like very min-maxing on my matrix with like my skills. I've been trying to get like everything to 25. So I just started saving nodes. I was gonna add, like, if you're looking at my V matrix, do you think it's time to stop upgrading like my nodes now and just kind of saving them for mules?
You've got the 6. You've got all the skills you need, right? Like, I'm not gonna try to like backseat all the numbers. If that's all done, then that's done. Yeah, depending on how far in the game you want to go, there's some skills that will be useful to level. But usually I find, you know, if you're saving up a bunch of nodes, and it's like, oh, this skill is very useful, then you just drag a bunch of nodes out of the reserves and you go in. You haven't leveled Ethereal Form at all. Is that... I thought it immuned a little bit more damage, or made you take a little bit less damage if you're...
Oh, I didn't know that.
If it's leveled, right? Yeah, you lose 1600 HP. 7,300. You always take HP damage, right? On Kanna, because you don't have MP. You don't take mana damage ever, right? Yeah. Yeah, so you take 1600 HP damage instead of 2,470. I guess on Kanna that's not super fucking important because you have so much HP already, right?
Yeah.
And you've got some lifesteal during the Yuki.
And we have the tree thing.
Yeah, you have the tree for emergencies. I think eventually people level it, but I don't know how important it is, yeah. I think the other things that are more important to level would probably be Urda's Will for like later game boss fights.
Okay.
But that's probably the only one, because decents are probably getting auto buffs, right? So it doesn't really matter what level they are. Some people
like based on like my board now, do you see anything that's like missing? Because I wasn't like, once I get to 260 and I get the next thing, I wasn't really sure what to put in.
Well, it's strange that you don't have decent sharp eyes in here. Do you have it on your gloves?
It's on my glove, yeah.
Yeah, okay, well, that explains that, right? Yeah, from what I heard, decent speed infusion helps in some situations, but you know about the combos, right? Do you use it for Exorcist Charm Weaving, or when you use it?
I don't really have trouble like weaving without like on green pot, or without like, it's kind of...
Okay. Yeah, because I know that's one that like later on people eventually use it, because, you know, even though it only works for a few skills, at that point it becomes better than any alternative.
Yeah, I think people use combat orders, I'm pretty sure, eventually.
Yeah, probably combat orders. And of course sharp eyes if you redo the gloves, but otherwise it would already be in there. Yeah, blink for the utility. If you don't need it, you don't put it in. It also has like flat magic attack, right, when you have it in, so it's like a little bit of a damage boost as well. Yeah, or Will of Urda if you need it, like Urda's Will if you... it's mainly for like the Tenebra's bosses and up, you know, like... yeah, Gloom, Darknell, Black Mage, you know, for those bosses. You can use it in some situations for the other bosses as well, but you've got your own will already, right? So it's more like a backup, like a second one.
People are saying hyper body.
Yeah, some people... Oh yeah, I totally forgot that, because most classes don't need it. Well, there's only 2 classes that do need it, right? It's only Demon Avengers and Kannas. Because of the scaling of HP and MP, people do eventually put hyper body in there, yeah.
Oh, I think I just meant to say disassembling them.
Yeah, it's another one of those though. If you... I'm pretty sure from leveling up it barely gives you anything.
Okay.
So it's more one of those you put in the auto buffer for your pet, and then, you know, it just refreshes anyway, and like, nobody cares.
Okay.
Level 1. Because I think, yeah, it gives a little bit of all stat. Like if you all the way max it, it gives 6 all stat compared to 1 at level 1. Wow, crazy. Yeah, so no, those are the kind of skills where I wouldn't even consider leveling them at all if there are other characters in my account that I care at all about. I would always look to be that those characters are in a decent position where they can do the content that I want to do with them before I min-max like single digit stats on nodes, because nodes are so rare of a resource.
Okay.
Gains, yeah. Hard gains. And some people will unironically, like at 270 or 275, throw in like the rope lift, not even use it, but just for the passive stats on it. So that's like the level of min-maxing that it gets to. Yeah, but the hyperbody can... I would throw in a hyperbody, you know, instead of in theory form if you get one, and just to see what it does to your damage. It might scale better. Well, it definitely scales better than like Decent Defense Blessing, but I don't know how it scales compared to Decent Combat Orders. Probably not as well.
Okay.
But you know, it is HP and MP 40%, you know, so it's... You know, if you're looking towards the Beast Tamer link, it's basically like a steroid Beast Tamer link without the crit.
Okay.
Or the boss, yeah. Yeah, it's a good one, chat. Good noticing. Yeah, no, other than that, yeah. It seems like you're pretty much on top of it, yeah. All those level 25, so it's probably a good point to take a little bit foot off the gas, yeah.
Yeah, like I just found out mana overload, you get like an extra bit of damage, so I just got that to 25. It was at level 1 a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, does it go from like...
Barely goes up.
Yeah, barely goes up, but it's more final damage, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it goes to like 11 or 12% or something.
Yeah, it's nice. It's also good to... Because eventually you're going to do that, it's good to learn how to play with the handicap of like the extra cost. To start getting used to how big that is, and just to know how to play around that. The sooner you learn that, the more quickly you can adapt to harder boss fights. So. That's why I was considering the speed infusion as well, right? Like if it makes a significant difference, you might want to put it in a little bit faster to make sure that you can get those combos down and everything, so that when it becomes necessary, you already know how to do them, and then it's just an easy switch rather than learning the boss mechanics and the new mechanic for playing at the same time. That can be a bit much.
I definitely could swap it in for the, I don't know what it's called, but the full screen attack. I never really use that. I know it's an iframe, but I never really used it during bossing.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a double-edged blade because it just blinds you.
Yeah, I hate what it does to the screen. And I only really use it when I'm farming sometimes. When I'm
while you're looting and stuff, you just throw it out there. It's basically just a like AoE DOT, kind of free.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm just leveling the Arachnid with the hard will.
Yeah.
The experience nodes, yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, not much rushing to do there. Okay. I think that clears up the matrix, right? Yeah, so I think you're at a point where you can definitely start saving the ruins. So did you see any of my project CRA?
I've glanced through them.
So those are on 100 nodes. That's what those characters can do at 210 with 100 nodes. So a lot of them can just do it, right? But there's a difference between being able to clear and, you know, having a reliable, stable source of income on a weekly basis by rushing through bosses. So, yeah, and when I did it on my Lara, it was... I opened about 260, but I did... also get the... like the support packages, right? From leveling to 200, 205, 210, etc., etc. So in total, it was probably closer to like 300 to 400. Somewhere around there. But that got me like all of my boost nodes, like I think it was like 15, 15, 14, 11 or something. Because now it's 220. Now I can use all 4 of the boost nodes. But the main important ones, those are 15 each. So that got, you know, in level 5 slots for the 40. Level 40 is a good spot to be at because then you get the 20% ID as well. And especially if you're going to do up to Lotus and Damien, you probably want to get a little bit of all of the ID sources that you can, right?
Yeah, so I'll probably push my Lara up to 210 or something.
Yeah, just give it a try, you know, see if you like the playstyle. It's very burst heavy though, so as long as you make your bursts count, you can chunk a lot of damage from it, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I just got it to 200 in like a day and then kind of just left it.
Yeah, it was pretty broken though, right?
Yeah, it was pretty brain dead, just spam the summons or whatever.
Yeah, so how many characters do you think you have time for in a week? Like how many bossing meals?
Maybe like 3. 2, 3 for now. I'm just like heavily focused on Kanna at the moment.
Yep.
Like I'm enjoying actually farming.
Yep.
Like when I first started playing, I really didn't like side path. I found it very lazy. Like I like farming LH6 and like I guess getting a bill an hour feels good too.
Plus, you get a whole lot of Netflix watching done. So.
Yeah, and I keep your Twitch open on the side all the time.
Oh, thank you, dude. Yeah, I wasn't trying to self-plug there, but I appreciate that. Yeah, I guess if you're working on other characters and you kind of enjoy them, and you think with better funding they would do better, but you get them to like around 160 and there's a Tera burn soon, you could also just like pause them, work on something else, and then just make a Tera burn to surpass them and get all the way to 210 or 220 basically for free, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're gonna need like 50 more levels, or you do the 50 levels with a Tera burn, it's gonna be faster to get the total amount of levels. And it feels kind of bad looking back at your Legion and be like, oh, it took quite a lot of effort to get it to 140, and now I'm just gonna basically write off that character and replace it. But it had its purpose, you know, it had its value, and it helped you get to where you are.
Yeah, I did that with the Demon Slayer. Like,
yeah,
I already
exactly.
had one at 140, and I was like, whatever. It's so much easier getting it.
Yeah, and it's got like level 90 and 100 gear. Before you sort that whole mess out, you just start a Tera burn instead, and you'll be done before you get the other one figured out and funded. So it's
yeah, like a lot of these characters I didn't even buy out like with mastery books and stuff. Like there's so many skill points to put on them.
They all have like 70 skill points sitting.
Yeah,
or like
yeah,
100. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, what I used to do is, so when I did a lot of Root Abyss and stuff, like I would always buy them from the shops and just pile them on into storage, and then for every new character kind of buy them. Or if there were, I don't think they are as much anymore, but it used to be that the only ways that you can get tradable books was just buy them from the shop for Meso, or in some event shops. And then if there were event shops where you had very limited resources, the books were usually the cheapest. So I would like buy just like a stack of them. If I couldn't really afford anything else for that character, or I didn't want anything else for that character. And then I always dipped into that. But now you also get that box, right? That has like, you can choose for spell traces or level 20 or level 30 book. So
that the daily gift or whatever?
No, it's if you're, sorry, that's if you're burning your character. You also get that box, yeah. And then you can kind of just pick from that box. But also back in the day when I did Legion, there were a lot more mega burns, but there were no Tera burns back then. So, you know, the balance is a little bit different, you know. But yeah, I've heard that from people who are working hard on Legion that just buying all the mastery books can actually be pretty expensive too. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just been super cheap on my mules and stuff. Like I feel bad putting money on them. Unless I'm pushing them to 200, then I'll put like a couple, like 200 mil on them or whatever.
Yeah. And they will make that money back, you know, just training up to 200 as long as you loot decently well. They will make that money back, and then you can just dump it into the next one. So it's not like a net drain. It's still a net positive because you get your money back plus you get the Legion levels out of it, you know. And then the Legion, the raid power, and that results itself back into coins. So
yeah, so
it is worth. But you know, you got to find time, and it makes sense that your focus is more on the Kanna now, especially since the grinding potential plus the all of the events that are going on. Okay, so we don't need any more bossing mules for now, then, right?
Yeah, down the line. Down
the line. Yeah, I mean, if you're looking down the line, I like Dual Blade is also very good. Like a lot of survivability, iframes, boss damage, IED, critical rate, right in the kit. So that makes it very quick to get the hang of it, plus to play it efficiently with very low funding. And then like Arc and Hoyoung are also very strong. They have their own, like classes that have their own binds and are very burst heavy. Usually just pop off immediately once you get into 5th job. Like Night Lord as well. You'll need to get the bind there though, but that one has such high burst that it's also very easy to solo Seeray with that one.
Okay, I think my Night Lord is 200. I'm pretty sure. That was pretty bad getting that to 200. That was pretty bad. I really didn't like that.
Yeah, the mobbing is squishy, and the Assassin's Marks do nothing until you're funded. Once you're funded, Assassin's Mark are really, really good, but until that point, they just basically do nothing. Yeah, there's still a bunch of classes I haven't done Seeray with, so I could be missing out on some bangers. I thought Kane was pretty strong too, but
yeah, it felt strong for Mule. Like getting it to 140 was really easy. Okay, yeah, so I think I know what to do for that.
Okay, cool. I guess we're getting to links. Excuse me, link skills. Do you have any questions there?
Based on like my setups, do they look okay to you?
Busting setup. Yeah, I guess you should see the stat window. So you're 100 crits. This stat window 100 crit. That's with FAMs on 3 IED FAMs. That's with the bossing setup, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like the hyper skills that are there.
With the bossing, yeah. Okay. So we have the resistance. These. 2BT.
That's also with the Arcane fan as the main, and as the secondary fan.
The
secondary. The main fan.
Yeah, yeah. That's good. Yeah, I don't know if I'm... Link skill's usually my blind spot. I tend to forget. I guess as you get stronger, as you get more burst heavy, I probably work towards using the AB link instead of Thief's Cunning. Just to confirm that burst even harder, right? Because you've got that Princess Akuna Blessing maxed, you've got all your final damage maxed. So you are basically also becoming a burster, and you can like almost squeeze in that second Vanquisher charm during the domain, right? Like right near the end.
Yeah, my AB link is level 2, I think. Yeah. So okay.
Yeah, that's normal.
Maybe like I'll test it out.
Yeah, that's basically going to be the main thing. Like you see quite some of the link skills still have the opportunity to go to level 3, right? And if you add all of those little stats together, it's basically like you're gaining an extra link skill. Because it's like, 5% crit on the Phantom Instinct, 5% damage on the Wild Rage, 5% damage on the Soulless, 3% boss damage, and 3% crit rate on the Focus Spirit. You add all of that up together, that's like an extra link, right? So
yeah, no, it's big.
At this point, that's where the big gains are. But if you were level 210 or something, you have this, it's like fucking amazing. So it's always like looking at what is comparatively the best gains to make. But I think level 2 Right Rage Omegalo. Listen, how many of you guys got a level 210 DA? Okay, it's not. That is not what most people go for immediately. But yeah, but you got some level 3s already. Yeah, that's probably the only thing. Man, I always feel so shit about link skills because I always feel like I forget one, because there's just fucking so many. You have the Explorer Mage, but you kind of went through you probably kind of looked through the order of the grid as well, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Which ones
I
were
followed
useful?
that, yeah, the whole time.
And your ID seems like it's at a good spot. That's with 3 ID familiars, you said?
Yeah, and I tested last night visually if I put the Arcane fan on as my main fan because it does give you an extra 10%, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, 20 base and it's 7 soul, I think, right?
Yeah, I didn't even charge this. It's a 5 soul. It
5 soul,
like
yeah. Well, for the number, you don't have to charge it. The charge is for the extra magic attack that you get.
Oh, okay. So with that fan on and 2 IDs and 1 boss, it was 95 visual, so it went down by 0.3. But I still think it's fine, I think.
It's probably better. You're losing. I mean, that means you're losing like 1% final damage on 300% boss monsters, and you're losing some boss probably, right? So you're going down to like 160 boss or something. Because of the set bonus, but your range must go up to like 30 mil or higher. Like, it has to be such a huge increase.
It went up a decent amount, but yeah, the boss damage has the 12% from the flame, and then I put a 20% familiar on, so it was.
Oh yeah, you switched that. Yeah, so you actually end up with more boss.
I think, yeah, what would it be, 10% more maybe, or. So yeah, so that's probably a better setup for bossing.
Yeah,
I
I feel pretty confident that has to be better.
Yeah, like when the set effect kicks in, and then we'll talk about the arcane stuff because I don't know what it...
exactly. And for mobbing, I mean, you're just doing Night's Watch,
Yeah, Night's Watch is key.
You don't need the Phantom for when you're mobbing.
No, because I'm at 100% with my Legion board.
Right, you switch that over.
Yeah.
Because that would be the other question, is if like throwing the Phantom in instead for like time to prepare and then moving your Legion board more for crit rate into EXP, if that would that'd be an option if you want to level faster. Because I don't think time to prepare does very much when you're mobbing, because the downtime and stuff.
The only thing I feel like, I don't know, like I feel like I'm over leveled because I was at side path during the the circus event or whatever, and I got out of side path so quickly, so I feel like I'm too high of a level for how strong I am.
What level are the monsters there? There's 237.
Well, I'm at LH6 now.
Right. Yeah, now we're at LH6.
Yeah, I'm leveling. In WAP, like without 2x, I haven't even been using 2x anymore. I get about like just under like 15%, I think.
Yeah, so you're basically just in it for the. You're basically just farming on your main, right? So you don't really care about the EXP as much. Okay.
No, because I feel like I'm pretty high level for how strong I am.
You think you're high level for how strong you are? Okay, but okay. Usually people say the other thing. They say like, I feel like my equips are too weak, or
Wait, no, I feel like I'm not strong enough for how high of a level I am. That makes sense.
I see. Okay. Yeah, if you just look at your CRA, like the first page, then you think like that's actually pretty high for like a 250, like barely in the 250s. Like you don't expect to be like decently flamed 21 star and a 21 and right, but then there's a bunch of 17s under there basically, right, under the hood. You've got the belt though, that's really nice. But there's like a bunch of 17s. Yeah.
So the next 5, 10, 15, that's what I want to talk about, like what I should focus on.
For sure. Yeah.
Because I have only 4 21s.
Oh yeah, I saw the hyperstats briefly, but I think they look okay. That's enough. That's enough mana for you to be able to mob and boss properly. Like you don't feel like you need more. I see some people have 10. Yeah.
I put it to 200 when I'm 10 when I mob. I don't know. I feel like when I'm bossing, I never really run up. When I mob, I do for some reason.
Okay.
I don't. Yeah.
Yeah, it probably depends which type of bosses you're doing. If you're putting up more barriers, I think the mana regeneration gets a little bit hampered, right? So then you want to make sure that you have enough. But yeah, you'll feel that out yourself, and as you're doing different bosses with different parties, you're like, oh, now I need more, and then you just readjust a little bit. And I guess you don't have that much in arcane power, right? Because your symbols are in somewhere, but they seem.
I don't have any in arcane power.
Okay. Oh, it might be from guild then, right? Because it is in red, but it's getting some buffs from something.
Yeah, it's probably the guild.
Symbols are 20, 20, 18, 19, 15, 15. Okay, that's pretty nice. Maybe 19 on Lackline already, or pretty close.
Yeah.
Right?
No, yeah, I do my dailies every day, so it's at 19 now.
Yeah, nice. Okay, let me look at the backups and everything. So we have context. Have you bought any Gollux items already, or is this just like everything?
I had to buy the belt, and that's why the flame is kind of nice on it. But I bought the belt because I got like 3 or 4 earring drops before I saw the belt, and then eventually I think I have 2 belts now. But so I'm at 1,000 coins I think now.
You got lopsided drops on the helix.
And I have 3. I got 2 primals last week. I've only saw 1 primal for like since I started playing, and then 2.
Oh, you're in the cluster now. You're in the primal cluster now. Keep running every day.
Hopefully it continues.
Cash in, yeah. I got those lovely Maple Tour coins, which are totally useless. Oh yeah, let me double check this stat window. But you're okay with your invulnerability, like keeping this for quite a while? I mean, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just an open-ended question, I guess.
I want to ask you about that because I rolled for like when I first started playing, like when I was in Lackland and whatever. I rolled the 20 meso, and then just randomly I would throw honor on it, and I just got this, and like. I haven't really touched it in forever. Like I kind of got. I think it's lucky, or I don't know.
Yeah, it's good. It's really good. I don't know how to scale that properly. It's like a 4 out of 5 probably. I don't know. The main caveat with that would be like, what is your main purpose for your character, right? If you're mainly trying to boss and you're trying to be you're trying to solo boss and you're trying to be like the main DPS in the party, then probably it could be improved. But if you're mainly just still focusing on leveling and you're just trying to progress through the game first and you need to make a lot of money, then this is great because 20 meso and 10 drop would be really good just for training, and then it has some boss as well, so it even has some utility when you're bossing. So I don't think there's anything that you need to change on there. Plus, if you do want to go for endgame invulnerability, usually that's like 3 million plus honor experience to make that happen. So you need some time to build the honor experience anyway. So I don't think there's any rush there.
Yeah,
Oh, you kind of cut out.
I definitely eventually want to get the crit rate in my invulnerability, but for now, like I didn't even know it was meso and then 10% drop, and then I had like a random third line. And I rolled it a couple times, and then I ran the unique line. Like I didn't even know you could do that. Like it would move up. So, yeah. So eventually, I would want to get, I guess, like the crit rate, and then keep or re-roll, I guess, meso.
Yeah. Like meso or boss, whatever you're feeling like. I still hope that they bring out invulnerability presets at some point. Hopefully, by that time, when you're considering it, you'll just hold on to it for a little bit longer, lock this one in for mobbing, and then just go ham on on circulators to make something with for bossing. That would be ideal, because it's okay for mobbing to just throw in your Phantom Link back, right, and then just compensate for the 20% that you would have when you're bossing. That's an easy switch.
Yeah.
That would be fun to have. Okay, hyperset seems good, like pretty, you know, balanced development and like higher percentages on the ones that you were expecting higher percentages. And then when you're mobbing, you're going a bit heavier on the EXP and on the normal monster damage. Yeah, that seems totally fine.
And then eventually I'll reset and put points into probably damage.
You end up putting critical damage because of the summons, right?
Yes, yeah. Like I don't need crit damage when I farm. I one shot like no problem.
Okay.
Just nice, yeah.
Yep, that's fine then. Okay, mission empathy, insight. Yeah, if you have are you just doing like one stat at a time for your? I'm just looking at your traits. You're just doing one stat at a time if you get like trait boost potions.
Yeah, so I was ambition. I didn't. I just did that from bossing, and then I leveled up empathy, and now I'm doing insight.
Yeah. Okay. And then
willpower. I guess next
and then,
willpower for the HP or whatever.
Yep. And then you're done, because the other two were pretty useless. Except for the one person in the comments who's going to be like, what about the faces you can get when you have high charge? You can get like some emotes or something, yeah.
Definitely took those off my keyboard.
Yeah, and there's a lot more people that have that. It's a different experience. Okay, so that's the money you still have, right? Or did you spend... This is after you spent on the 30% off, right?
Yeah, so the 30% was stupid. My hat, so I got my hat back to 21, and then I was farming, and I was like, okay, let me just tap it right now, 30% off, like one time. If it doesn't go to 22, then I'll go back to 21, and then boom, first tap. So I spent like 8 bill trying to, and then I went right to 22. But I refarmed. I've been farming, and I'm at 14 bill now. So I'm not touching my money till even. Yeah. I'm at 14.
Okay. Yep. What is this gargoyle's foot? What is this?
I don't know, and it won't let me get rid of it. It's annoying me.
Oh, it's maybe like from... Is it from... Guys, is it from like Hard Magnus questline or something? Did you ever do that?
I don't know, and I can't... I've had it forever, and it just in my inventory, and it won't let me drop it or sell it or anything. It's so annoying.
Oh. Wait, someone's saying yes in all caps. Wait, do you have one as well?
The
other foot of the gargoyles usually have 4 feet, I think. And 2 other people have one of these as well. Are you... Well, I mean, I guess we're getting the extra bag shop hopefully after the current event, right? So you can kind of manage your inventory a little bit better. This isn't your main characters... Oh, it is probably, actually, because you have the wolf coins, right? Do you feel a little bit inundated with materials? Or are you fine with your inventory space?
I would like to get rid of stuff, but I feel like once I get rid of it, I just get it again. And then just keep stacking again.
Yeah, to an extent, yeah, for sure. How big are those bags that you have?
I think they're 4. They're 4
Yeah,
slot.
okay. Yeah, so that's probably it. Like, eventually you'll get 20 slot bags there. We should be getting a shop after the current event that has... You can buy bags, so you can get up to 5 total bags with production bags and material bags together. And there should be
that'd be nice.
There should be 20 slot bags, so that should clean up a lot of clutter in your inventory. Also, if you want, you can definitely get rid of those 2 stacks of what are they called? The crystals in the middle that stack to 9,000.
The black ones.
Yeah, those little.
Okay.
You know, what is it, like a D8 shaped or something? I don't know what they are.
The mana crystals.
Yeah, those mana crystals. Yeah, because you have another stack of 6.9. Like, you need some for sure, but you never need that many. So you can definitely get rid of those 2 stacks without feeling afraid. Yeah, you almost have 2 stacks of the fine spell essences. You can get rid of one of those as well. You do need those eventually, but never that many. So you're good. That at least makes a little bit of space early on. There are some things that I standard get rid of, but like you said, like you do kind of just end up getting them again. So eventually, you just want to get bigger bags and have them thrown in there. And some of the materials, you know, like the bottles and the abrasives and those kind of things, usually I don't hold extra of, but I just buy them in the moment, and then if I have some left over, just throw them away.
Okay, I'll definitely do that.
Yeah, because them taking up slot in your inventory is like, that costs you more than just buying them from the NPC at the time, I think.
Yeah.
Because that's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 spots. You know? So that adds up, right? With the other 3, that's 15 spots already more available, so that should create a little bit more breathing room.
Okay.
Yeah. After a while, also like the normal ores, you kind of get rid of them as you get enough crystals, because then you can just use the crystals straight up, and you can skip the whole step of refining. But that's more up to you when you're knowing, when you're looking at characters. Like I like on new characters, I like leveling up the smithing if I eventually need to make a shield. Otherwise, I level up the alchemy just by making some shit level potions, just so I can extract and fuse if I want to. But that's definitely also like time consuming. You don't have to do that on any of the characters.
Yeah. I've been keeping, because for one of the Threads of Fate people, one of them takes as a gift, so I've just been keeping them for now.
Yeah, that's a good point, Is this a total amount of droplets that you have? Have you made Arcanes already? Just besides the weapon?
I made just the weapon, and I made it with the Lucid drops, which was a mistake, but it was right around the corner of the 5, 10, 15. I'm like, I really want it, and I also had the Fake Lab. So I was getting no Haku, magic attack, so I bought it.
Yeah, so now you kind of need 24 or 25 more Lucid ones to be able to make the full set, right?
Yeah. And I've gotten no drops. I've been running for maybe 2 months now, 2.5 months.
Yeah, that doesn't phase me. I've got a bunch of weapons on my DA, but I got my first non-weapon drop after almost 3 years, so it's not.
Yeah. And we get like random fills in our party from our guild, and like, they get drops. Like capes. It's so annoying.
Yeah,
it's like,
the fills.
Like level 240s.
If you want to get drops, you want to not have a static party and always fill somewhere else. That's how you get all the drops. That's how it works.
I've only run it once, but I've been like, I'm obviously not doing any damage, but I'm in a V-Hilla party with my Kanna, so that's like an extra chance at a drop. Yep.
Yeah, it's good to upscale as much as you can. Plus, getting used to those harder boss fights. And you say like you do no damage, but you bring a lot of damage to the table. Even if you're like a second Kanna, you still bring a lot of damage to the table. As long as you play the character well, you can make sure that there are always long binds, that there is always domains. It is definitely very helpful for a boss to make sure it's a quick run. So you have like 150 droplets, and how much did you already buy in the current event? Did you buy the black bean ones?
I almost bought the black bean ones out, but I haven't spent any meso on those.
Yeah, because those should also be coming in the shop, right? Like the other droplets are probably also coming in the shop after the current event, so you can buy them like unlimited for 50 mil each later. Maybe a little bit less even because of guild discount on the shop. So there's no
I kind of don't want to buy them out unless I have to. Like if I have enough boss droplets and everything.
Yeah, that's more your bottleneck now is the boss droplets. Yeah, and until you're kind of like full switching, there is the change of the set bonus coming, but it's gonna feel, I don't know how you look towards it. I'm not gonna project that on you, but how do you feel about like wearing 3 pieces Abzo and like 3 pieces Arcane?
The only reason I don't I would do that, I just don't want to like buy something and then get it as a drop.
Yeah,
like that will kind of like so I kind of want to just wait until I can buy out the full set. And like hopefully in that time maybe I get a drop. If I don't, whatever, but we'll save droplets, I guess, if I get one.
It's 100% natural. It feels like that when you're going for the first set, to have like the full set, and then quickly after that you realize like, oh, I probably want to go past 17 on this pretty soon anyway. As weird as it sounds now, but you probably want to go from like to 17 to 19 or something. So you will want backups then anyway, and then the drops. Even if you do end up getting a drop after you get the item, you'll just have that as a backup. Even if you get another weapon, that just means you can use an Arcane on your main weapon and on your secondary, right? So there is very few situations where you're like, oh no, shit, I got an Arcane drop, I have nothing to do with this, That's pretty much only going to be if you have a 22 start. Or if you already have like your weapon at 19 or 21, depending on how you want to go. Because there's never a reason to go for like 22 on a weapon because of liberation and stuff. So that's more... But yeah, that's like easy to say from the other side when you have like most of the Arcanes. Is really like, oh no, just get it, dude. If you get it back up, it'll feel fine, and eventually, don't worry. But I totally get that feeling. It's not like a weird sentiment to have. I mean, I don't know if you saw the last progression session, but it was basically a person who was also in the same situation where it was like, I have one item, do I get another drop, or do I buy 2 pieces, or do I get a weapon, and what if I get a drop? And because of the events, it's a tricky position to be in, because it's a lot of FOMO, because you're like, okay, if I buy it now, and then I can make gains, and then it feels good, but then I get a drop right after, and then it'll feel horrible. And yeah.
The biggest thing is like, I guess around the events, I would save money like upgrading the stuff, but I don't need the damage. Like the party I run like hard will and what's Lucid is like really strongly. I'm just conning it for it, so I don't need the damage. But I kind of just want to be like as most efficient as I can with my money and stuff. So if it means buying it around events, I'll do that. But that's what I was gonna kind of ask you. Like if I don't get a drop by the 30%, do you think I should buy out a piece or two, or
by the 30%? So like 7 weeks from now. Yeah, I think that's pretty safe because we're also like in the second half of January, which means we're also getting closer to like the end of the event where you'll have more drops as well, right? Like Lucid drops, I mean, droplets to make more pieces, and you'll be getting closer to that, like making a full set, and you're basically going to be hopefully one Lucid drop away from like a full set at that point, because you're probably getting 3 droplets per week, right?
Yeah.
Or, like 3 most of the time, maybe sometimes 2 if you're like really unlucky, but pretty much always 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. So every 4 weeks, that's another equip. Yeah. And you know about the exchange for droplets, right? That you can trade one kind for the other.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, just double checking because for a while that was a big bottleneck in like where do you train and where do you go? People staying in Arcana forever.
That's so stupid. Like I wasn't really playing when that was a thing, but I can imagine like leaving Arcana, like that's you have to make most of the equips there. That's kind of annoying. Yeah,
especially if you need backups, you just infinitely need to stay there and suicide. And a good thing the money rates were good, so that was a deal sweetener for a lot of people. But it did create some areas or some times when all of Arcana would just be completely full with Kanas, and there would be like no way for non-Kanas to get like anything going. That was I feel like
I started playing at like the perfect time. Like everything is kind of
people have moved.
Changes.
The death penalty change and everything like that. So people were kind of like forced down the down the pipeline into the next area. Now it's Libana. That's a bit more of a bottleneck. But yeah, the change to the reboot passive and to the HP from the monsters definitely help people move into Surnium and burning Surnium way faster. So that's good as well, to keep people flowing through the game and not like bottlenecked in one piece. Okay, so so that's Arcane. So that's like going to be one of the next upgrades, but seeing the amount of droplets that you have and the amount of boss droplets that you have, and I do feel you on that drop. I think we technically have 2 chances per week now, right, for the Lucid drop table and 1 for the Will drop table. But that could still mean 6 months of nothing, or that could mean in 4 weeks you get 2 drops. It's all over the place. So,
I'm just in no rush for it, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, it would be nice to have, but
So with that in mind, 7 weeks from now you could be in a different situation. It's definitely depending on how the 5-10-15 goes, right? If you actually can make some decent gains there, then and the option is like, okay, do I make a bunch of 22s, or do I try to brute force an item where I only have 1 or 2 backups where it's really high risk, or do I just hold that money a little bit longer and then just go for the full Arcane set? It's possible that last option for going for full Arcane becomes way more reasonable around that time, and that you then consider to buy 1 or 2 pieces to at least make some gains. I wouldn't do it just for making sure that you get a 30% off on the 15, because in the grand scheme of things, how much are you saving? Like a bill per piece?
Yeah.
That's not,
not worth it.
You'll have to, for some people 1 bill will be worth more than maybe getting a backup and then a double and then not getting their set quicker. For other people it won't. I think for you it'll be the other way around, right? That you'd rather pay bill extra but get the full set sooner. So that depends on personal preference at that point. So I guess it depends on the 5-10-15. So let's see options for the 5-10-15. So you have a bunch of backups here. You have 3 backup superiors, or 4 now? Is this one green?
I have 4 earrings, and I think let me check. I have 4 earrings superior. I have 8 reinforced earrings, and then 2 superior belts. But the belt's at 21. I'm not gonna touch it. For a while.
Belt is just keeping backups for
or 22 eventually.
The end of days, and hopefully you have 2 or 3 or 4, and then hopefully you don't need any of them.
So my plan, like one of the first things I was thinking of doing is, so I left my superior pendant right now at 17 with unique potential, because it's unique at 18. So I was thinking about getting that to 21. But transferring, like doing the pendant as a fodder.
And you have enough coins for 1 purchase, right?
Yeah, so if I boom 20 to 21.
Then you just go back to a 17.
Or maybe go 22 and Dom Pen it. If I get to 21 super quickly, then maybe I'll attempt 22. But if it's otherwise, I'll do 21 to 20.
Yeah, if you like still have 6 backups, then you could risk it. But if you only have like 1 or 2 after that, you'd be like, yeah. Or you just sit on a 20 superior with just like shitty epic potential, and you just wait until you have more coins or until the next event or something. That could
I
also be
such
an
bad
option.
OCD, like 20. I just want to tap every time I see a 20.
Well, yeah.
So yeah, I was thinking that. I was also thinking of doing my earrings, and then I have almost 2,000 dineros. So
yeah, I saw that. It's a healthy. Well, it's 1,600 here, but it's closer to what, 1,800, 1,900 now. But maybe by the time of the event it'll be 2,000. Yeah. Did you?
I have the.
You have the dreadnought?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I've been getting them, and I've been doing the CPQ. So.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, because rings is not really an option, right? You have one extra Kanna treasure.
No, I've been getting unlucky with Kannas. Yeah.
Yeah. So you know, it seems like you got unlucky with the Kanna treasures, but you got lucky with the earrings. So it seems like earrings is just a higher priority for your character, for your account. You could. How good is your potential on your earring?
It's not good. It's only 18% legendary. But I was thinking about just tapping on it because I have 4 backups.
Yeah, it's always going to be cheaper on it if it works, and you have 4. So I would always give that a try first.
And when would you recommend stopping? Maybe like 2 backups?
Yeah.
Okay, so 2 booms.
Yeah, I'll go up to 2 booms, and if that doesn't work, then depending on how much money you have left, then be like, okay, I'm gonna go to transfer route, or I'm gonna, just hold and try again next event,
Yeah. Okay. So I don't know, 40 bill, like, if I have 40 bill, I feel like maybe I can get 4 things to 21, maybe.
I probably aim for 3. I think that's a more realistic goal. Okay. And then, always hope for more, But I think 2 is guaranteed, 3 is probably reasonable, and then 4 is like could definitely happen, but I think is a lower percentage. I'm usually pretty lucky with Starforce, and I think 4 would be kind of a dangerous expectation is set. I'd probably expect 3.
Okay, because I think on my account lifetime I've only spent 50 bill on Starforcing. I've gotten super lucky so far, but maybe now this will change.
You're due for some bad luck, yeah. I would brace for impact, and there's a big wave coming. Yeah, if you're at 50 bill total, then I think on average the CRA that you have on average is probably around 50.
Yeah, and just it's only 50 because that hat I boomed.
Yeah, and you already boomed
22 two times.
2 times, yeah. So. Yeah, I think you're due for some rough water, so I would aim a little bit lower just to, brace for impact on that. Yeah. So probably I would start with seeing if you could do. Yeah, you can always YOLO a Dominator, right? And do the earring and see where you land. And if you have money left, you could also for the accessories. Would this be the time that you switch over to a monocle, or are you just gonna keep this one?
I don't know, like I just really don't want to buy a monocle and get a pap mark. Like I just that would really bother me. So I don't know, I feel like the flame is decent on, that was like a boss drop, the pink bean mark or whatever, the black bean mark.
Yeah.
So I know, and at the potential, I use it as a meso, but like it's kind of like damage too.
Yep.
Like best case I would get an extra 3% if I reroll that, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I kind of want to keep that. It's also a 17 star.
For sure.
But I was thinking about pushing everything else up, and then worst case scenario, if I never get a black, what's it called? A pop mark, then eventually maybe buying a monocle. But like that would be like if I don't, once everything's 21 or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Now I have pap marks, but like I got to like a 21 monocle as well before I even found my first pap mark. Yeah, but Black Beam Mark could be a very good placeholder because it also set bonus and better flame. That's definitely a good argument. It's good that you've looked into that. So you have your transposed pennant already, yeah. Yeah, and for pennant rings, is 400 backups, right? So that's a rough one.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if I should do that last or do it first. I didn't know what order to do Sweetwater in.
Yeah, you could do 1 star at a time. Just get him to 18, get him to 19, just see just as long as it goes well. Because it might be one of those upgrades where you don't really need the damage, but it's just the next logical upgrade to make. So maybe you don't need to like try to go for 21 immediately on a piece. You could like get them both to 18, get them both to 19, and if you're running low on money, you just hold there. And then the next big event, you'll have even more dineros, and then you can try the 19 to 21 bump. And then again, the amount of backups you have from other pieces and the amount of money that will be available will kind of show you like, okay, this is a reasonable upgrade to go for, or this is a bad time. Because you just mentioned the rings and you just mentioned the coins, right? If you want to go for the pendant and you do like fail the 20 to 21 on a pendant and you're forced to buy another one, then the only thing you might be able to do is get one reinforced ring, right? I think that's probably the only thing you can afford at that point. I don't know. I like going for the kind of treasures first and like but you know,
I was thinking of doing,
because it's still more likely to have way more backups there in the same time, because you need 450 coins versus one kind of treasure. It's just, you have to get really unlucky for a long stretch of time for Gollux to like outpower the backups for kind of treasure.
Yeah, the main reason I want to do the pendant too is because the potential is kind of weak. So I feel like it would be pretty good. Getting that to 21 plus the new potential would be pretty big.
Yeah, I would definitely say I would probably do ring first, pendant second. Or sorry, E-ring, right? E-ring first, and then pendant second. Yeah, okay. And then, or the other way around. It's not super important which one you do first. You know, they're both top priority, I would say. And then rings, in this situation, rings are very low priority. Like the only thing you could consider is like making Meisters and like YOLOing a Meister and see if that goes well. And if it does, then you can kick out the UC card for from your damage rings.
Yeah, I actually just got that too. Like, I didn't have a damage ring since I've been playing, but since the event, I got a 4th event ring. Eventually, I'm gonna make that into another drop or meso piece, but so now I have 4. I just threw a couple random cubes on it.
Yeah, at this point, if you get damage on any of your other strong event rings, they'll be better than a 17 Kanna treasure and better than a 17 reinforce as well. So it's just a really weird position for Kanna. Like, unless you get those rings to like 19, they don't really overpower them because of the HP and MP scaling.
Yeah.
So it's always a little, a little awkward situation for them to be in. Like 18 is like roughly there, but like 19 is like definitely finally stronger. So, and you know, you have the benefit kind of like with the Meister in the same way as the Dominator, that you can just like go ham on it, and if it doesn't work, you know it doesn't work. You don't lose any damage, but if it does work, then you can make have a golden opportunity for a big increase.
My plan with Meister, like I'm not a Meister craft or whatever yet. I want to get more things first, primals, before like committing on that.
Okay, sure. Yeah, then I would probably focus on so the earring and the pendant, and then probably the accessories afterwards. Right? Yeah, probably the tattoo first, because you know I probably get that one to 19, focus on that first, and then probably try to get the pendant to 19. If you get lucky with no booms, then you can try to get the tattoo to 21. I don't know if you'll have the money and the resources to also try to get the pendant to 21, because man, that's like 400 per backup, right? That's and those items like blowing up in my personal experience.
I've seen some videos on that.
Yeah, like it's like, oh, there's a bunch of dineros that you need to do a bunch of dailies for. Sure, would be a shame if they were tracing a whole bunch of times, yeah. And then you unironically start booming them between 12 and 15 and stuff, and you're like, okay, well, didn't like those dineros anyway, I guess.
Yeah, well, like I take pride in the pending. I spent so much on the flames. Like I was getting so unlucky with flames. So
you just need one flame, dude. You just need one of them to hit, and then you're good.
Yeah.
But yeah, sometimes there's 5 flames before that, and for some people there's 5,000 of them before that. So actually 5,000. That's not even. Oh, just 5,000. Oh yeah, that's a lot. Never mind. That's 5 trill.
That's only.
That's 5 trill. Maybe not that many. Maybe 500. Okay.
You know, maybe it's not like 5 bell flames.
Yeah.
But I searched it up.
I went up to 10, I think.
Yeah, apparently because the HP is really good for the flame. Like it made it a pretty high flame. So when I searched on the calculator, it was actually worth much more than 5 bill. But
yeah, because even a 60 and 6, I think, is already higher than that point. But you're adding the HP to the flame score for a Kanna, then you're getting way higher. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like a 76 and 6, I think, with the HP.
Yeah, I don't know the exact numbers. 11. Yeah,
depending on what stage of the game. Yeah, I haven't really looked it up. Yeah. But yeah, so I think for that, for the 510, and then what about for like my weapon secondary and emblem for like cubing? Is that like a farther down the line thing?
Um, yes.
Okay,
Those are expensive. So for emblem, you probably want to consider about like 30 bill in reds on sale for like guaranteed 3-line basically. So it's either that or black cubing every now and then, YOLOing and just praying that you Hail Mary it.
Would I take a 1-line ID, 2-line magic tech?
Most Kannas end up with that, yeah. That seems reasonable, because you could just you take whatever you can get there, because all of it is going to be so expensive, and then you just compensate with your familiars to optimize. Because that's the flexible part, right?
It's cheaper, yeah. The line of ID is much cheaper, I think, for the emblem.
Oh yeah,
than 3-line.
Yeah, for sure. On average cost is I think it's about a third, or maybe even cheaper than that.
Yeah, that's what I was going for on the cube sale, but I just want to save a bit.
Yep.
And then for my Arcane fan, I didn't put much money on cubes on that at all. I just kind of settled on that.
Yeah, I think it's fine if you have 2-line magic attack, or like 2-line very useful in WSE, and there's even anything remotely useful in a 3rd line, then I think that is good until you're basically like full Arcane and 20 or 21 star everything else.
Okay.
And then I would revisit like WSE, because then you have to make tough decisions of like, okay, do I have the resources to get Arcane backups? Okay, then you could consider Arcane from 17 to 19, but you have to wait for events, you have to wait for the boss droplets, you have to, you know, etc., etc. And then the other options would be like min-maxing the WSE basically, or maybe right before that even would be like getting every single equip to like 2.5-line stat, you know, like trying to get all of your accessories to 27 or to 30 or 33 on Arcane, stuff like that. And then probably after that move would be like looking back at the WSE and trying to min-max there, because it is a huge upgrade, but it is insanely expensive.
Okay, because yeah, so I guess I won't touch my emblem for a while, because I was like, the ID was kind of bothering me, but I guess I'll just compensate with the familiars for now.
Yeah, that's totally fine, because I think before that time also you will get another Arcane fan, and you will use that as the Haku one, and this one as the damage one, and you'll have to work on upgrading that one again as well. So you definitely don't want to min-max with the current Absolab one. Like if your current Absolab was already like 33 or 36% magic attack, then you probably just hold that and don't bother with the other Arcane, right? Because it doesn't go into set bonus anyway. Because you could like number crunch a little bit on how much magic attack it would give. Like it's 221 more magic attack. Haku transfers, what is it, 42% with decent combat orders, I think. So like 42% of 228, so that's like roughly 100. So it'd be like 100 magic attack extra, but you'll probably lose at least 3% magic attack, probably like 10%, and have to settle for something lower. Plus it'll cost you a lot of money. But Kanna already has a lot of magic attack, so it doesn't scale as well, because you get the conversion of HP and MP, right? And then that amount also gets multiplied by percentage. So at that point you could consider like just keeping the Abso, but current Abso potential is fine, and also good placeholder until you get a second Arcane. Just as a what's the word, like an anecdote, a friend of mine started running the hard bosses that could potentially drop the bosses at the same time as one of my other characters, and then one of my characters has gotten no drops, but he's been running all the bosses, so also like including hard Tenebris and everything, and Varishilla, and he's now gotten 11 fans dropped.
Oh my god.
So yeah, that could be you if you do like the whole rotation of all the bosses, if you do it long enough. Because the going theory is that they count as both secondary weapons and as main weapons, so that you have double the chances of getting them as drops. And that's why Kanna seem to find, and also every single party has a Kanna, so that disproportionately shows way more fan drops as well, of course. So
does drop on your gear and stuff like affect Arcane drops?
From everything we know, no.
No. Okay.
There is sometimes some information floating on from Korea. I think most of the time it's poorly translated or inaccurately translated, and it tries to mention as a caveat that in Reboot we do have one factor that increases our drop rate on these things, but that's the Reboot passive that it says increases drop rates from bosses, but we don't even know how much that is exactly. So it's like, maybe that number is out there somewhere. People have number crunch that it's like 10% or whatever, or 20%, I don't know. But that one does, I'm pretty sure from everything I've read, you know, like big caveats, I don't speak Korean, but we really just need like, hey, these are like the 5 groups of drop rate, and these are the 5 groups of equips, and this is which equip group is affected by which group of drop rate, you know? Like we just need a little infograph like that, and then it'll just be all over. But they just, you know, they'll just allude to some drop rate works, and then quantify it sometimes and not qualify it other times. It's like, okay, well, so it leaves a community kind of guessing, and people hitting the box, and some people using WAPs, and some people using greed pendants, and everyone just kind of, you know, trying to get as much drop rate in and praying. Because because it is, it's all over the place with the drops anyway. So some people get super lucky, get the whole set. Some people get nothing. Yeah.
Okay, just hope. I guess hope for drops. That's it.
Yeah. All you can do is just wear as much drop rate as you have access to, and just hope that something clicks.
And then is getting 2-line crit damage like pretty important? Like something I should worry about as soon as I get the glove, or that's kind of.
Yeah, so eventually, I guess for mobbing it won't be as important, but you're going to be more and more optimizing for bossing specifically and not really worrying about the mobbing, right? Maybe if you get to Cernium and Burning Cernium, but then again, like a lot of your damage hopefully still comes from the summons and the crit damage, not working on that. But eventually, I don't know 100% if Kanna's an exception there, but from everything that I know, like eventually for Arcane gloves, you definitely want to get double crit damage on it. The priority of it kind of depends on, you know, what event is going on and if there's a sale. Typically, I think it's fine to have like 8% critical damage on line of stat or decent sharp eyes or speed infusion or whatever as like temporary until there's like a major black cube sale, which is typically pretty rare, you know, like maybe twice a year, and then go hard on those because that can be pretty expensive. So I think it's okay to push that back a little bit, but try to get that initial critical damage and something useful on one of the other lines. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll find more support for going harder on the flames as well, of course, once you get Arcane. So won't be as like, okay, I guess this is good enough. Would be a waste to flame more, but on the Arcanes you can set pretty high standards.
For like my CRA flames stuff, are they okay like to settle for now?
Yeah, I gotta get into the MP mode. How much did I count for the flames? Because we asked some high level Kannas what their equivalents were. Wait, not this one. This one. Boop.
Should I be like aiming for around 100 flame score right now for like the point I'm at?
Yeah, I usually would never worry about your flame score in a time where there's like cubes, DMTs, and Starforce events. I would always see flames as like an afterthought whenever all the other important stuff is done, because there's never flame sales, right? So it's more of a thing that you kind of just worry about when the dust settles and the events have roamed the savannah and they left the dust trail, and then you can be like, okay, flames can come out and like slowly start making their making the appearances and crawl out of the woodwork, because yeah, the other ones just take precedent at that point. You just save so much money on a grand scale, and flames is always the same price. So
yeah, there's just been so many events since I started playing, like I haven't really had any time to like settle down and
yeah. You know, I like first glance, like your CRA stuff seems fine. There's maybe some upgrades to make, but because you're also on the cusp of getting into Arcane and you want to go super hard on the flames there, I would see it right now. I don't see anything where it's like, oh yeah, this one obviously needs to be upgraded because this one is garbage or something. Like your CRA is good, the cup is good, the Abso is going to get replaced, and all the other stuff is basically not flame advantage, so it doesn't really matter. Like that's your current situation. So flames as like a thing for your whole account, I don't think there's anything to worry about. Oh yeah, and your weapon like and secondary like is fine on flames. So I don't think flame wise you have anything that you need to worry about in the short term. Maybe not even in the midterm. It's gonna depend on how big a gains you make on the stuff. If you get a pep mark, you know, then you have something to worry about. But until then, I don't think so. Because okay, for HP and for MP, is it? Yeah, I think I put 150 to 1, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is like, what's 150 to 1, so this is like 14 or something? 14 times 150. Yeah. Or no. 15? I don't know. Yeah, so it's fine. And this has got magic attack and 6. Yeah, and this is 2700. Yeah, it's all fine.
Okay. Then I guess just save flame. Well, like they'll probably expire, but for arcanes, I guess throw all my flames on that once I get them.
Yeah, or you can start looking at the bossing mules, right? Start trickling down the resources. If they're gonna expire, you know, don't let them expire. At least use them on like the DS or something, and just make that guy stronger and stronger without spending direct money onto it, but still using the wealth that your account is gathering. And that way, once you do get to bossing on him, he'll be significantly improved by that and have an easier time getting the money faster.
Okay. Yeah. I've been doing that with the cubes, but I'll definitely start using the flames on.
Yeah, it's just a natural progression, because at a certain point you're like, okay, this is like 1% chance to upgrade, 99% chance to ruin my item. Let's not do that. Let's throw them on a character where it's like, you know, 40% chance to improve and 60% chance to have to reroll. That's a way better value for, way better bang for your buck for that flame.
For like flames on like non-flame advantage, what's like a decent spot, like 40 flame score, or is even that pretty high?
Yeah, so I think I have as the earlier in the stages, so where you're at now, you're probably going towards like the mid 30s to early 40s, and then once you like approach end of late game, which you get closer to 270 and stuff, I think people aim for like very high 40s to low 50s.
Okay.
And of course, with the flame compensation, some people actually just went for like 70 to 80. Because they had thousands and thousands of flames, right? So they were able to set some insane standards. But like the progression grid takes that into account, right? Flame score based on your level, kind of like what number that you're aiming for. And you can use this as a general tool. So if you're like around, between 95 to like more close, or closely to like 105 when you go like near 270 for CRA. So maybe by that time, or, you know, if you're at that point, you'd start looking at the exact numbers. And then for Arcane, starting out as 125, but eventually probably getting closer to like 140 to 145, 150-ish, and then finally finishing, you know, with some crazy 160 plus numbers.
Wow.
But again, that's also like, you know, those compensation people who got crazy. But you see some smegas every now and then with like people with like 110 and 6 all stat or something. And you're like, okay, well, this is just just ridiculous. But you know, depending on how min-max you are, if you have 3-line stat and you have a 22 star, there's nothing else you can spend money on. So might as well just buy a whole bunch of flames and go to town, because many times these people don't have a whole bunch of characters in their account that they want to work on.
Yeah, and I guess we're probably running out of time now, though, right?
Yep, we're getting just over time now. Yep.
Oh, okay, don't worry about it.
If it's a quick question, I'll let you do it. Okay.
It was pretty much like, at what point, like how far out am I from like you think soloing like hard like low main, like solo or doing it?
So like in a decent amount of time, or just theoretically being able to? Like
theoretically, because like I want to start trying to go for the set, but like I know it's very low drop chance, but just. Cause I like soloing bosses, like the challenge or whatever, because right now just my bossing feels so easy.
The problem with Kanna with soloing is that you lose immediately 25% final damage if you're not in a full party, right? Because of the Haku buff.
Yeah.
So that makes it like that's an added level of oof. It would definitely be a matter of just going into practice mode and just checking, you know, and like limit testing yourself and seeing how close you are. I think that Lotus is definitely, if you get your mechanics down, because you were at how much stat? You were at 30. You were high 30s, right?
Under 35. Under 35, just under.
35, yeah. I don't know what the exact numbers are. I can throw it at chat and see what sticks, but I think when you're like close-ish to 40, I think a Lotus becomes pretty doable, but you have to learn the mechanics properly, of course, and you have to make sure that you don't like fuck up. But like around 40k stat, I think is when Lotus becomes doable. But Damien is just always going to take longer because he's just not targetable for so long. And then you have the blue balls in phase 2 as well. So for Damien, you just have to punch more damage. And I wouldn't be surprised if for Damien you need to be closer to like 43 or 44 or something.
Okay.
Crispel's a Kanna. For duo, just max domain. Solo, go at around 340 Starforce. Oh yeah, so that's like a few more items. Oh yeah, but you have the extra 15 from the guild, so you're like at 314. So like a few more 21s. And around 40k stat, it's doable at around 35, but you need godly mechanics. Yeah, okay. Kind of what I thought, yeah. So I think you're like at the beginning. I think if you practice now and you can get like the mechanics down now, then every upgrade you make is going to make it considerably more realistic and closer for Lotus. I think for Damien, though, it's a bit rougher. You do have the Spirit Circle, you have the Domain going on, you have a lot more burst, but there's a lot of, you know, damage that you cannot do when he's just like floating up there.
Yeah.
So I found that one way harder to commit damage to.
Okay. So, not right around the corner, but not too.
Yeah.
Tough.
For comparison, like my hero is 40k stat. I tried to do Damien because people were like, "Oh, you could definitely do it." I'm like, "Okay, I'll show you guys how much I can't do it." And with all of my buffs on, and I think, I think I was almost 20 minutes in when I hit like phase 2, and then yeah, just ran out of time in phase 2 because of like the blue balls and him not being targetable. So I was like, yeah. Just
were you able to solo Lotus though? With the
I
hero?
didn't try that one because I only had time to try one, and I wanted to make sure that I was right in telling them that I couldn't do it. So I picked the hardest one. I think for Lotus, it would definitely come down to the mechanics I'm practicing more. Even though I like suck at Black Mage, that definitely did make Lotus feel way easier in comparison. Because when you're starting hard Lotus, it seems like you can't do anything, and everything just always kills you, and nothing is safe. But once you do really, really difficult bosses like Chaos Tenebris bosses and then Black Mage, and then you go back one step to things like Hard Lotus, it's like, oh, there's so much time to respond to everything. Like,
yeah,
it
like that's how I felt
easy, yeah.
about the first time I ran Lucid. I was like, this is crazy. Like bossing's crazy. Now when I run Lucid, it's like the biggest joke. Like,
yeah. Same thing with Will. Like way in the beginning, you're like, oh my god, like I'm getting knocked around. There's legs. There's curses. What is this moonlight thing going on? And then there's the tests and everything, and you have to try to annul the timers. But yeah, just one at a time. You kind of like cancel out a mechanic. Like, okay, that one I got down. Now focus on the next one, and then you know you move on, and then you just a lot of it becomes what is it? You go from subconsciously incapable to consciously incapable to from subconsciously incapable to consciously incapable to consciously capable, and then to subconsciously capable, right? You go through that cycle where you're like, okay, I'm fucking up, I don't even know what I'm fucking up. Then you realize what you're fucking up, then you get better at it because you're actively not fucking it up, and then you just don't fuck it up anymore automatically, right? That's kind of like the cycle you go through. And that's why some bosses really help you set up in the game for that cycle for other bosses as well, and some are just stupid that they have like, you know, like normal arc. What does that help you? If you're doing that to limit test on a low level character, you learn nothing from that. You just learn to bind and burst. That's you know, so that's why I have that different value describer as well on the daily bosser grid, where it's like, okay, this is some relevant bossing experience, or this is completely irrelevant.
Yeah, like right now the hardest one I'm running is the V Hello whatever. That's pretty intense.
The threads. Yeah, here specifically, Kanna can have some issues because you don't always get stunned by the threads. So you can immediately get hit again after one, and you can just get a lot of stacks really quickly if you're not careful with your positioning.
Yeah, that positioning is everything, I feel like, with that. Just like knowing the spots where you won't get hit.
Yeah, at the beginning...
But yeah, I've only run it once.
Yeah. So now you're moving from that first spot to the second one, where you're like looking at your runner, you're like starting to get consciously incapable, where you're like, okay, I fucked up here, I fucked up there. And then, yeah, after a while, you just automatically find those spots very quickly. And then even further, you don't even need those spots anymore, because you'll just see the threads and you'll see what the spot is within each of the threads. You don't need to know exactly which spot is always safe. You'll find the safe spots much faster.
Yeah, let's practice.
Yeah, just practice. It'll come automatically. All right.
Thank you for all your help today for the free session.
Yeah, it's a free one, so make sure you wanna tell the people on YouTube how amazing it is to win every set.
Put your mind to it. You can make anything happen, guys.
There you go. Just leave comments on all the videos. I don't think you did on every single video, right?
I commented on a lot though, but you kind of re-sparked me to get back into Mape though, because I was triggered and I saw that. I'm back. Okay,
don't put that evil on me, okay? So all of your time spent enjoying this game, I mean. Yeah. No, when people are like in the chat, like, "Oh yeah, I saw a video and now I feel like coming back." I'm like, "Okay, don't don't put that on me, all right? I'm just making content for the people who are already here. Don't make me culpable for dragging you back in." But yeah, good luck with everything, and
Thank you.
yeah, I hope not too many hat adventures, but more belt
21s, not
belt adventures.
22s.
I guess that one was
Exactly.
good, right? Yeah. All right, more belts, fewer hats. That's what we're aiming for.
Thank you. Have a good rest of your stream.
Yes, thank you very much. Have a good day. See ya.
Bye.
Bye. Oh yeah, and happy holidays and all that shit, because we're getting close to Hanukkah and Kurisumasu and all that stuff. So yeah, if you, just like Mimza over here, would also like to win a free session, make sure you leave a comment, and you could be one of the two, sorry, not like that, sorry British people, two people who get lucky and get drafted with their comment and get a free session. Other people who don't want to wait for a free session, you could just check the link in the description and request a session with me. Pretty booked up until the holidays, so it'll be for early January. But yeah, sooner you get in there, sooner you get scheduled. I'm gonna slowly. Hanukkah is past a month ago. I don't know, man. 'Tis the season, okay? The season of joy. All right, don't the season of not correcting streamer, man, because he doesn't know when a Jewish holiday is. All right. So yes, hopefully the session otherwise was helpful for you. Maybe your totem is almost done. Congrats on those gains. Hopefully it was interesting enough to listen to. If you have any comments or any feedback on any of the information that I gave, make sure you leave the feedback. Don't be a dick about it, or I'll be a dick back. Yes, you know who you're talking to, guy on the last video, who was wrong about the sparks, by the way. All right, I double checked with like a bunch of people in the community. I was right. You're fucking wrong. All right, or show me screenshots, and then I will change my ways. All right. But otherwise, yes, hopefully it was an interesting video for you, and make sure to tune in to my live stream on Twitch. I stream there every day, and I try to help as many people as possible. All of those resources that you see here, all of these grids, all of this information is all available through commands in my channel. You just put exclamation mark and then the name of whatever you want, or you can check exclamation mark commands, and that gives you a huge file with almost 200 commands that have a bunch of information in it, either YouTube videos, wiki posts, walls of text, anything, screenshots, anything that will help you better understand the topic. And then once you go through that, you will most likely have very few questions left, and the ones that you do have left will be great questions, and those are the really fun ones to answer because they already are building on a very solid basic understanding of the underlying principles. So those are the good questions that other people want to hear the answers to as well, and those might be questions that they don't even know that they had. So then you can help improve the quality of the stream. And if you find something that you think is wrong, or you have better information that's updated, you can also let me know, because I'm trying to keep everything up to date, and I couldn't do it without the help of the community and all of you guys pitching in a little bit as well. So concerted effort, everyone working together, better knowledge base, everyone has better information to play the game. That's the goal. All right, so thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one. And oh yeah, we'll go over the Kanna changes. Maybe they're interesting, maybe they're cool, maybe they're not, but we'll see. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one, and happy holidays and merry, not Hanukkah, I guess, because that's already over. I was saying it for next year, okay? Merry Christmas and all that stuff. Okay, bye.